Welcome into Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by Hackensack Meridian Health. Keep getting better. My name is Madelyn, Burke, alongside the Super Bowl champ, Amani Toomer. Amani, what a game. The Giants went down to Dallas, fell to the Cowboys. 40-37 is the final in overtime. Brendan Aubrey kicks a 46-yard field goal as overtime clock expires. But what did you make of that overtime period?
It was up and down. You get the excitement of the entire game it really kind of overwhelmed me, but the way that the Giants performed compared to last week, you got to be looking up. The fact that they were physical, they competed very hard. They put up a whole bunch of points, and we let Russ cook today, and boy did he.
Boy did he. But talking about putting up a bunch of points, the score of this game was 17-16 in favor of Dallas heading into the fourth quarter. Went to overtime tied at 37. 41 points were scored in that fourth quarter. Both sides were cooking. We saw Russ airing it out. We saw Dallas going up and down the field. Really, that overtime period, though, the key play right there, Russell Wilson threw an interception. Donovan Wilson picked it off with 2 minutes to go in overtime, and Dallas was able to secure the win. But we were preparing for a tie game here.
We were preparing for a tie game, but I felt like the momentum kind of shifted a little bit towards the end of the overtime. But man, Russ Wilson, 450 yards, 30 of 41. You know, with all the pressure that was on him from last week to this week, for him to come out on the road in Dallas and play this way with a 123 passer rating, you know, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, but man, that doesn't really show the resilience that he had. Remember when they took the lead and we got the ball back with less than a minute left? Russ looked like he just, walked out of the shower. He didn't look. He had no. He was very, very calm. And now you understand why you have a quarterback, a veteran quarterback, who has more fourth quarter comeback victories, because he is calm. He's been in this situation before, and it showed. And that calm allows everybody on this offense to really, dig into what they have to do and not be worried that their quarterback is panicking.
Right. It's like when you see a duck on a pond, you don't know how hard their legs are moving under the water to get him there, because he's just cruising along. But as you mentioned, Dak Prescott had just thrown a touchdown pass to George Pickens, his first touchdown as a Dallas Cowboy. There's 52 seconds left in the game. The Cowboys have a 4-point lead. The Giants have less than a minute to go to the length of the field and score a touchdown. Russell Wilson finds Malik Nabers for the touchdown. Malik's got his eyes covered by the defender as he brings that one down. But talk about the threat of the downfield passing and what that did for this Giants offense in this game today.
I mean, to be honest with you, I'm a very big fan of Malik Nabers. I never knew that he was this fast. You talk about people fast in clock, the clock in the 40. But to see Malik Nabers play this fast with the deep ball, this is another element of his game that I wasn't able to see last year because of the shortcomings of the offense and whatnot. But I think now, the way he's playing, the way he's improved from last year to this year, there's no sophomore slump in Malik Nabers. I'm very excited to see what he's going to do. And it takes a certain kind of player to be able to make a game-winning catch in these type of situations. Of course, it didn't turn out that way. Malik just put the game into overtime.
No, he came down with it. They took the lead, and then the Cowboys came back and were able to kick a field goal to send it to overtime.
Yeah, but I'm saying that ordinarily in a situation could have been a game-winning catch. And when he left the field, the Giants were ahead. So I feel like these are the types of things that young receivers need to have in their palmares, the fact that they can make these catches when it counts the most.
Absolutely. I talked to Malik Nabers about, hey, what is it like playing with a quarterback like Russell Wilson? What does it feel like to catch a moon ball like that? And he said, listen, it's great. He places it so well, almost too well. Like, I can't make any of my acrobatic, athletic plays because he's putting the ball exactly where it needs to be. Well, today in Dallas, we saw Malik have 2 touchdowns. Both of them were incredible. One, he had his eyes covered by the defender. The other one, he high-pointed that catch in the back of the end zone. 2 incredibly acrobatic plays, just showing what an athlete he is.
Yeah, I think the first one was had the degree of difficulty was a little bit higher. The experience that he has to catch the ball, put it away, and then land sideways as opposed to landing on the ball. Because sometimes when you land on the ball, it kind of can squirt out. But if you catch it and you turn and land sideways, you have more control over the ball, and that's kind of one of the things he did. That's a great way to high point it. And as he's turning to protect the ball, he doesn't land on it to make any to allow any referee to see the ball moves or anything. It was one of those plays that, he's beyond his years in terms of experience, and those are techniques those little fine techniques that receivers have that make touchdowns.
Absolutely, and the offense was working in today's game. As we talked about, Malik Nabers, a second-year player. We also saw some excitement from some of the rookies.
Mm-hmm.
Jackson Dart got in for a couple of plays, a couple handoffs to Cam Skattebo, including a long one that set them up for a touchdown there. Cam Skattebo coming off an Angry Runs win in Week 1. His first week in the National Football League, takes home the scepter from Kyle Brandt, gets Angry Runs. Taking a look at his numbers in Week 2, gets his first NFL touchdown, was running hard, and was a huge factor in this one, Amani.
Yeah, 11 rushes for 45 yards. That's around that 4 yards per carry, what you want in a running back. That's productive. But there was a couple plays there where the third down that was thrown behind him a little bit that I would have loved for him to come up with. But I mean, this is his first opportunity to really see what he can do in the NFL on the road in a very hostile environment. Most rookies and younger players don't play as well on the road as they do at home. So I think Cam Skattebo made a good showing for the amount of experience that he has, and be a lower round draft pick for him to have an impact. To me, it's showing that all Daubers are up on him.
Sun Devils making an impact. It's what we do. That's what we do. ASU, got to do it. Listen, a lot of bright spots on the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball. A lot of things that you want back, including the penalties. Mm-hmm. That we'll get into a little bit later in the show, because we're going to continue to break this one down. Giants, Cowboys, 40-37 is the final score. But first, join us at the Ultimate Women's Tailgate presented by Joe Malone, an event designed to celebrate and unite the team's loyal fan base. The ticketed event will be taking place Sunday, September 28th from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. ahead of the Giants' Week 4 home game against the Los Angeles Chargers. Scan the QR code on your screen or visit giants.com/women's tailgate to learn more. I'll be there. I'll be hosting it. We'll be there celebrating your New York Giants. Coming up, we've got head coach Brian Daboll on Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by Hackensack Meridian Health. Welcome back to Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by Hackensack Meridian Health. Keep getting better. Today's scoring drive of the game brought to you by Citizens, the official bank of the New York Giants. Citizens is made for Giants fans. For every scoring drive this season, Citizens will donate $750 to the Giants Foundation to support their work tackling important community issues, improving overall health, and empowering our youth. For the scoring drive of the game, we take you to the fourth quarter. Just 3 plays, 63 yards, 27 seconds. Quick work capped by a 48-yard receiving touchdown by Malik Nabers. That would put the Giants ahead in the fourth quarter. But of course, this game went to overtime as the Giants fell to the Cowboys 40-37. Welcome back to Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by Hackensack Meridian Health. Keep getting better. Madelyn, Burke, and Amani Toomer here, breaking this one down in two. Obviously, we got to talk about this passing attack. I'm here with the Giants' leading wide receiver in all statistical categories. So let's break it down what we saw today in Dallas. We talked a bit about what we saw from Malik Nabers overall, but as we take a look at this group and what we were able to see from these guys, what stands out to you?
I like the fact that the ball was spread around really evenly. Also, the production. I mean, 29 receptions with 38 targets. That's the efficiency that I really like to see. 450 yards, can't complain. 3 touchdowns, that'll work as well. 15.7 yards per reception, I like that as well. But you know who I really was impressed with? Wandale Robinson. I mean, this week, the guy really, he had 10 targets and 8 catches. That very good production, 148 yards, 17.8. One of the things that one of the knocks on Wandale was that all of his receptions were short. They weren't able to, he wasn't able to stretch the field. You put in Russ Wilson, let Russ cook, and the 17 go. Normally he has like 5 or 7, under 10 yards. That cooks up 17.8. Touchdown, very impressive. I just like the way he was able to use his speed. Just like I said, I didn't earlier in the show. I haven't seen Nabers' speed. Wandale Robinson is another guy played so much faster than he's ever played, in my opinion, for over the last 4 years. But I'm really impressed with him, and I just feel like there's a lot more on the bone when you come to this receiving core. It's not just Nabers anymore. Now you got Wandale Robinson.
And we're talking about Wandale Robinson. We're looking at his numbers to finish the game, but talking about the first half, he had 98 yards in the first half, too.
Yeah.
Quite an efficient performance from Wandale. He was looking like one of Russell Wilson's favorite targets. But another guy who stands out to me, at least in this one, Theo Johnson. This week, you know, he was really efficient, 4 of 5. After struggling a little bit in week 1, he was bringing the ball down and was a reliable target for Russell Wilson early on.
He was not only was he a good target, but there was a couple really mean blocks in there that I really like to see. So yeah, Theo Johnson is a guy that when you have this type of production, 5 targets, 4 catches, that to me says this guy needs more opportunities. He needs more catches. But I feel like he had a good game this week. Not a great game, but what I want to talk about, my man, Darius Slayton. This week, you know, didn't get many opportunities, took advantage of most of them. 3 targets, 2 catches, 61 yards, 30 yards per. That's what I'm talking about. This guy needs more balls. He needs to rock a little bit more. The fact that he can stretch the field, and he's done it with very few attempts, just shows me that in this receiving core, there's more talent than is being displayed. You get a big arm quarterback like Russ, as he's cooking, he's allowing all these receivers' numbers to rise up and boil up. I'm really impressed with this. Obviously, and I guess that's all of them, but man.
Well, when we're talking about this too, though, because as we go back to this, I want to talk about this. It's really important for you. You mentioned the targets versus the receptions. And as we look at these individual receivers, why does considering the target share matter so much?
Because in the targets is, okay, everybody on the team, all of their 10 players on the team did their job 38 times. And the ball was thrown in the direction for a receiver. He had an opportunity to beat his man and make a catch 38 times. And of those 38 times, it's 38 plays. You don't get that many plays in a game. You can sometimes you get 70, maybe you get 80. But so imagine, that's a big percentage. Half of the game is in these targets. So you come up with 29 catches. To me, that shows production. That's moving the chains. That's a positive outcome of a play. So that's why targets is a very stat for me, because it's not just about where, you know, about the amount of targets you get. It's also those are plays where everybody's doing what they're supposed to do.
And things are getting done, and the efficiency is an important factor right here. To be efficient, though, let's bring in some more members of our broadcast crew. Let's send it out to Dallas. Paul Dottino and Howard Cross were on the field for this one. Guys, what did you see?
Yeah, obviously the disappointment, you guys could feel it in New York. We feel it here on the field, Howard. But let's face it, the Giants lose in overtime. This is their 9th consecutive loss to the Cowboys, and they only have themselves to blame because early in this game, they had opportunities in the red zone on 4 different occasions and only came away with 3 field goals, and that really came back to bite them in the end.
Well, you know, they kind of bit them in the end, but the biggest problem was the penalties they had. They had, you know, untimely penalties. They had, like, I think 4 or 5, maybe even 6 penalties in the first quarter. They had something like 125 yards passing and no touchdowns in the first quarter. So you know that they were setting themselves back. When you have 40 or 50 yards of penalties all at once, it's hard to overcome that. And then later in the game, it was the defense that was having the penalties.
14 overall penalties against the Giants for 160 yards, and this on a day when they were actually able to put up over 500 yards of total offense, including a touchdown in the final seconds of the fourth quarter that looked as though it was going to be their game saver.
It looked like it was going to be the game saver, but again, you got to be able to make stops in crucial moments. They've been making stops all day. They had 2 drives their defense did where they didn't make any penalties, and after that, it seems like every other play there was a penalty, and those were penalties that were killing them in the end of the game.
Howard, why so many penalties? Because obviously the guys were trying hard. There was no question about their effort today.
It was a lot of things that the effort plays. You're hitting the quarterback. One penalty was called of roughing the passer. The defender is blocked into the quarterback. The referee throws the flag. The defender has no way of stopping from hitting the quarterback at that point. Those kind of plays you can't do anything about. The other plays, they earned them. You earn pass interference. You earn, you know, holding, and you earn face masks and anything else that they were doing wrong. You just earn those plays. It's part of it. You got to keep playing. You got to keep grinding. You can't stop on one penalty. You got to go for the next play.
All right, so it's a seesaw overtime, and then Russell Wilson gets picked by Donovan Wilson at the end of the game there would set up the final field goal that won it. It looked like there was a miscommunication between Wilson and Nabers, who was on the left sideline.
No, there was no miscommunication between Wilson and Nabers. You know, Wilson just got back there, got a little panicked, and just threw the ball up. That was one of his few mistakes he made today.
All right, that'll do it from here as the Giants fall to the Cowboys. Guys, I know you're feeling the disappointment back in New York.
A disappointing loss indeed, but you know what? An eventful game and a fun one to watch. Those penalties, though, of course, 6 penalties for 60 yards on that opening drive. A tough one. We're standing by, though, because head coach Brian Daboll is heading to the podium soon. We'll be back with more Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by Hackensack Meridian Health. It's Moody's. Decode risk, unlock opportunity. Learn more at moodys.com. Welcome back to Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by Hackensack Meridian Health. Keep getting better. Madelyn, Burke, and the Super Bowl champ Amani, Toomer breaking this one down. The Giants went to Dallas, fell to the Cowboys 40-37 in overtime. Let's hear what head coach Brian Daboll has to say.
That was a tough one. Battled back and forth. You know, guys left it all out on the field. And it's a tough result. Yeah, we had a number of them. You know, some physical penalties, some, you know, offsides, if you will. Far too many. I want the guys to play physical this game, be aggressive. But you know, whether it's roughing the passer or DPI, we had enough of them. There's a lot of penalties called this game. I think almost, you know, 260 yards worth between two teams. Certainly don't want to have as many penalties.
Brian, when you score 37 points in a game, how disappointed are you in your defense today?
Every game's different, Paul. I mean, last week it's 14-6 in the fourth quarter with 7 minutes left. This game is, you know, back and forth. Score with 24 seconds left, kick off, and you know we knew Aubrey had a long kick, had a long leg, and you know try to play tight coverage, try to do some things rush-wise. They made some good plays. Just made one more play than we did at the end.
You guys spent a lot of the offseason and camp talking about the need to start fast, to be 0-2 after the first 2 games. I mean, just how do you process that?
I just say, you know, this one hurts, Connor. These guys battled, man, for 60-plus minutes. So, we'll, no, this one hurts. Put a lot into it.
How do you square Russell's excellent game with the interception at the end? Like, how do you evaluate it all?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm sure there's a few plays. I thought he played well. You know, made some plays, attacked certain things we wanted to attack. You know, that 2nd and 3 kind of slipped out of his hand. That pushed us back there. You know, whether it was incomplete, not incomplete, obviously, they call it that way. And then that, you know, deep shot kind of at the end. It was communication, not a bad communication, just communication. You know, Calf, I thought, called a good game. You know, again, this one's tough. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. These guys battled. Dallas battled. And came down to the end.
What did you think about, why do you think you were so successful on the deep balls today?
Good throws, good catches.
Is that sort of what you were hoping this offense would look like this season, right? When you add Russell, you have some receivers that, you know, can get down the field. This is sort of what you, and even Wandale, you guys said all season, we're going to throw the ball more than downfield.
Yeah, I mean, explosive plays help, obviously. I know you guys know that. I think we hit a number of them in the pass game today. Just, you know, collectively, just a couple plays short. No excuses. But these guys, you know, it's a tough game. It's a tough game back and forth. And I know our guys, they gave everything they had, man.
What was the thought process on when you put Jackson in for the next 3 plays?
Well, the one that we hit was Scat. You know, we were just talking about on the sideline. We didn't have much going in the running game. You know, a couple of plays here or there. You know, that particular one, it's kind of 11-on-11 football with a read. It kind of sprung Scat. It was good blocking. So, Yeah, he did a couple good jobs with the handoff, then he kept one and slipped on the one. I think that was right before the 4th down, if I'm not mistaken. But that was the reason why.
When the game starts on that opening possession, obviously Hudson had a rough one.
Yeah.
Just go through the thought process. I mean, when you talk to him, was something going on?
No, he had a number of them. Yeah, no, he had a number of them. I just thought, let's put Bo in, settle it down a little bit, and then, just told Carm and James keep an eye on it. Again, it's not like he wants to go out there and commit these, have these penalties. You get the one where the guy slipped and he hit him in the head. So just thought at that particular time, put Bo in after, I think it was 4 penalties or 3 penalties, whatever it was. That's the reason why.
Burke, I said 4 penalties. That hadn't happened in one drive in like 100 years. Did you contemplate at that point taking him out during the drive?
We were moving the ball. Again, right off the game, it started out with a long return, probably 60 yards of field position there. We got a holding penalty, and we had a couple penalties on that opening drive. So he finished it out and went with Bo. But Hudson's a competitor. He's a competitive kid.
Tracy didn't start. We saw Cam get a lot more work. Just where are you standing with the running back room?
Just game by game. Dan, it depends on. I thought Scat was running hard. Got a lot of confidence in Tracy, and he did a good job on our kickoff returns. So we got 3 guys I think we can use, and if we think one's running pretty good or feeling it, we'll give it to him, and if not, we'll kind of use all 3 of them. But have confidence in all 3 of those guys. And he did a good job for us on a kickoff return today.
You mentioned several times, Brian, how much this one hurts. You guys put a lot
Yeah.
into it. How do you keep it from bleeding over?
Just get ready to play next week. I mean, you're going to hurt for 24 hours, that's for certain. These guys put a lot into it. They left everything they had on the field. Respect them a great deal for that. And it came up short. But you put a lot into it, coaches, players. You want to get the results that you hope for, and came up short. You let it sit for 24 hours, and you got to move on.
Did you think that your defensive aggression stayed throughout the game? Would you like to see you guys be more aggressive in the 4th quarter and overtime there?
Yeah, I thought we tried to play tight coverage. Mixed in a fair amount of stunts and games this week. Again, they made some plays against man-to-man coverage, sometimes doubled. And give them credit too. But our guys fought. Just came up short.
How much do the penalties bother a coach?
Well, I think there's kind of 2 types of penalties. There's jumping off sides and false starts, and then there's aggressive penalties. But I think you have to be smart, whether you're putting down on the ground. I don't think Hudson tried to hit that guy. He was kind of slipping, but we hit him. And, after the fact of hitting the quarterback late, again, we'll take a look at some of those and see what they are. But it's a lot of penalties that we had.
Is that something you need to address with them again? Or?
Yeah, you're always addressing things, but obviously that's too many. And we'll work to correct it.
What went into the decision to put Tracy on kickoff return?
I thought he would help us back there.
Obviously, Russell, there was a lot of talk this week. He was under a lot of criticism, people saying, getting near the end. How much do you think he silenced some of those critics that are out there this week by playing?
Yeah, I don't really think Russ worries about that, to be honest with you. I think he's done this for so long. What's going to come with the territory of being a quarterback in this league. It was business as usual for him during the week. Was preparing and studying and doing all the things at practice, and the other stuff that comes with it. I don't really think he focuses on that.
Do you anticipate using Dart a little bit more next week, or is it a game-by-game basis?
Yeah, we just got done with this one, so we'll see where we're at. Thanks, guys.
That sound from head coach Brian Daboll, brought to you by Ford, the official vehicle of the New York Football Giants. As we break this one down, he mentioned how heartbreaking it is. 40-37 overtime loss to the Cowboys in Dallas, a division loss to start the season 0-2. This is 8 straight losses in the NFC East. Amani, as a player, when you play a game like that, that was so close, how much of a heartbreaker is it?
Well, I think there's 2 things you have to do. First of all, you have to look at the film. And all the mistakes that you made, you have to go over them and make sure that you don't make the same mistake twice. And secondly, you got to take all the positives of this game. This team looked night and day different from the week before. Throwing the ball deep, running the ball, spreading the ball around. All these are positives. And focusing on the negative is not going to help you. Focus on what you've done well and look at the improvement we've made from week 1 to week 2. If we keep improving throughout this season, we'll be the team that we want to be. We'll be able to show the football that we'll be proud of towards the end of the season. So, and the Giants fans will be proud of. So I think that there's a lot of positives in this game that we can look at and get from this film. Make a couple mistakes that were made, in terms of the penalties that we've talked about. Those are the things that need to be cleaned up, no question about it. But the effort they played with, the tackling was so much better. The aggression on offense and defense, the blocking on the offensive line, giving Russ an opportunity to look downfield. All these things are positives that we need to really look at. Is it a heartbreaking loss? Yes, but we don't want one mistake to turn into 2 mistakes. And 2 mistakes would be another mistake next week and not coming up against the Chiefs playing the same type of football that we played this week.
Absolutely, and the point you made, I think that is the biggest one, is what a night and day difference week 1 and week 2 is as the season rolls on, and so does our show. We've got more to come, but first want to remind you guys, Giants fans, bring your friends, family, and neighbors out to run the Giants Foundation 5K and Kids Run presented by Quest on Sunday, October 26th, and finish in the end zone at MetLife Stadium. Just scan the QR code on your screen or visit giants.com/5K for details and to register. Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by Hackensack Meridian Health. Keep getting better continues with more after this. Welcome back to Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by Hackensack Meridian Health. Keep getting better. It's week 2. The Giants went down to Dallas and fell to the Cowboys 40-37 in overtime. For more, let's send it down to Dallas and hear from the man who led the Giants in rushing, got his first career touchdown. Skattebo is speaking in the locker room.
Cam, you had almost 50 yards rushing, including a touchdown, and it looked as though your energy and your force was a real spark at times, every time you were able to kind of muscle into a defender. Is that kind of how you see it in terms of your role with this offense?
Yeah, I mean, whatever my role is, I'm going to do my best to execute it. 50 yards in my eyes is not enough, but, I mean, that's the way the game went, So we fought till the end. I'm proud of our team. I'm proud of the offensive line. They did a great job. They battled until the last second. And props to those guys. Props to Russ and the receivers. They did a great job on the edges, being able to open up things for me on the inside. So we had a hard fought battle right there. And they had a 65-yard field goal that they came up with. So that's a tough one. But we'll come back and play harder next week.
I don't know if you've ever been involved in a game such as this before. Seesaw battle, a lot of points, goes overtime. But how gut-wrenching is it to have to go through the ups and the downs right down to the very last play?
Yeah, I mean, I've been a part of some games. This was definitely one of the ones that was up and down the whole time. Up 3 points, down 4, up 3 points, down 4. And we just had to keep fighting, and we did that. And then they had a really good kicker with 20 seconds left. So we had that game in our hands, and 65-yard field goal is not easy. So props to him, props to the Cowboys. They played hard, but we get to play them again. So we'll be back at it.
You had over 500 yards of total offense. Is this an example to show people how explosive the Giants' offense can be?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we have athletes, we have players. We're just like any other team. We have guys that can make plays. So, coaches are going to keep putting us in great positions to do things right and be successful. So we just got to keep following the role and keep following under the coach's lead and just keep fighting hard and battling.
Cam, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
That sound from Giants rookie running back Cam Skattebo is brought to you by Ford, the official vehicle of the New York Football Giants. As we take a look at Skat's numbers, week 2 at Dallas, 11 rushes, 45 rushing yards, 14 receiving yards, and his first career rushing touchdown out in Dallas. When we take a look at what Scat was able to do, of course, coming off a week 1 in which he won angry runs to comb the scepter in his NFL debut, he obviously provides a spark, but one of the biggest runs that he had, a 24-yard gain we saw in the first play that Jackson Dart came in and handed it off to him, was a little bit, Amani, of that, the defense saying, oh, we're not quite sure what to make of this new quarterback here, or how do you make, what do you make of that situation?
Well, I think the formation was something that they ran before earlier with Russ. And when they came back to it, because they saw how open Skattebo was, obviously the line did a great job in creating space and opening up the hole. So there's that to the play as well. But I just like his attitude. I like the way the energy that he brings to this offense is something that we haven't seen it for a while. Just somebody who runs the ball and punishes the defenders who try to tackle him. That's one of the things that I really love about him, and I'm anxious to see what he's going to do with more carries. I like the fact also he said, I only had 50 yards. There's got to be more than that. Most rookies who made an impact like he did today would be pretty happy just to do that. But
absolutely. I mean, we gotta pull up his numbers here, because as we take a look at what Scat was able to do in this one. This week, of course, we're going to pull it back here. This week, of course, the Giants' run game was a strong one, but Cam Skattebo over here putting up numbers and being a game changer for us.
Yeah, I mean, for the run game to have 126 yards, to have 226 yards, to me that was very productive for the game. And if this offensive line can keep run blocking as well as they do, that opens up the pass game for some of the deeper plays that were made and the more exciting deeper plays that were made.
Absolutely. All right, well, we've got more show to come because we're going to continue breaking this game down. Giants falling to the Cowboys 40-37 in overtime in a heartbreaker right there. But you want to get the run game established, right? We're going to continue breaking this one down. Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by Hackensack Meridian Health, continues. Welcome back to Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by Hackensack Meridian Health. Keep getting better. The Giants Cowboys Week 2 game was a thriller. Amani, unfortunately, it finished in favor of Dallas. 40-37 is the final score in overtime. For more on this one, let's send it down to the locker room where Drew Phillips is with our Paul Dottino.
Drew, how incredibly difficult is it to defend a team when you know their kicker has a robotic leg and can actually have a chance to make the 60-yard field goal like he did at the end of the fourth quarter?
It just forces you to play tighter on the other side of the field. You only got to give up like 20, 30 yards before he's in range. So it's all about being sticky in that part of the field and just trying to get him out his range.
A day of mixed bag, right? So many really good plays. Yourself had a bunch of pass breakups, and then, of course, there was some completions, too. I guess sometimes that's just the way football is.
I'm out there competing my ass off, man. Like, I'm breaking some up, I'm getting some, but we competing, man.
Yeah, what is the emotion right now? Because this has got to be probably one of the toughest losses, I would think, even in your career.
Yeah, man, we had them, man. Like, it's just a couple plays, man, but of course I'm bummed about it, but we showed a lot today as a team.
So do you see something positive out of this that you can build off of, or is the gut punch just too much right now to kind of swallow?
No, I mean, if you look at this game, there's a lot of positive stuff that can come out of it. So we're keeping a bright narrative and just move forward next week.
How much does the explosiveness of the offense with over 500 yards and the points that they put up make you feel better even about that side of the ball moving forward?
They can do it. Like, they showed, and we've known they can do it. So they proved it today, and it's up to us, to be better on defense.
Thank you, Drew.
No problem. Thank you.
As Giants cornerback Drew Phillips talking to our Paul Dottino. That sound obviously brought to you by Ford, the official vehicle of the New York Football Giants. Amani, we heard Drew talking out there. We saw some photos from the photographers at Giants.com, some great photos of his interception on the day. Obviously, Shane Bowen has really emphasized takeaways this offseason, saying you get what you focus on. He's got the turnover chest on the sideline. You get a takeaway, you put it in the chest, get that pirate mentality. Unfortunately, the Giants weren't able to capitalize, get some points on that takeaway. But how important are turnovers and that kind of pressure for the defense?
It's really big, and I felt like when the defensive line starts pressuring the quarterback, there you start to get more turnovers. One thing that he said, one thing that Drew Phillips said that really sparked my interest was he was competing his butt off, and that's what this entire defense did the majority of the game. So when I look at this, and I look at this, can I compare it to last year or years in the past? this team is competing. And for a former Giant to be able to look at his team and feel proud, no matter that, there's some stuff we need to clean up. But if we keep competing like this for the next, 15 some odd weeks, I think this season will end up being very successful.
Competing, absolutely. And of course, Phillips getting the first interception off Dak Prescott this season. They also got pressure on the quarterback. Brian Burns had a sack. He had 2 in week 1, his 3rd sack of the season. Kayvon Thibodeau also taking down the quarterback. We've heard a lot about this pass rush as well, but being able to see that kind of pressure put on the quarterback is imperative.
Yeah, and there was a lot of hustle plays. I think Dexter had some real hustle plays. When you get a guy who's 200, 300 and something, 50 pounds plus, hustling like he was in the 4th quarter.
Dexter Lawrence, yeah.
That shows you that everybody's tuned in, everybody's competing, and when you compete and you compete consistently, good things are going to happen for this Giants team.
Good things are going to happen for this Giants team. All right, we're going to continue to break this down. Giants fans, I want to remind you to download the all-new Giants mobile app for breaking news and exclusive videos, updated with a brand new layout, plus the Giants short stories feed and the Pocket Game Day Ticket Holders Hub. Download it for free at the App Store or on Google Play. Giants Postgame Live brought to you by Hackensack Meridian Health. Keep getting better. Rolls on. We're going to hear from Malik Nabers after this.
With the 48-yard moon ball touchdown catch.
Which one?
The one before, with 25 seconds left.
Oh, shit, Russ said go get it. I was like, bet.
You think you thought the game was over at that point?
Nah, I didn't think the game was over. I was telling everybody it wasn't over.
How much does this one hurt? Obviously, Daboll just told us this one stinks for you guys, but just how much does this one sting?
I think about this one a little long time. I mean, it hurts, but that's the games in the NFL. It's going to be like that. Next game.
You guys spent so much time this offseason talking about fast starts, and then you need to get out of the gate pretty hot. To be 0-2 and 0-2 within the division after the first 2 weeks, how do you compartmentalize that?
Just figure out what we can get better on. I mean, it's a long season, like I said. We still got a lot of more games to go. Just 2 games in, we can still turn this thing around. We got more games to play.
How are you feeling coming out of that one? Just like, what's it feel like to walk off the field after you guys were so close and in and out?
I mean, everybody knows it hurts. I mean, there's nothing more to say. It hurts.
Can you breathe a sigh of relief as an offense because you were so explosive today, especially down the field in the passing game? Like, you don't get the result, but what you put on the field as a passing offense could be a good sign for what's to come.
Yeah, I mean, we could take good things we learned from this game, take the bad, try to switch it up. I mean, we had like 200 yards of penalties. I mean, can't do that. We kind of beat ourselves with that. I mean, we had a lot of our first drive coming out on the offense. We had like, 8 penalties to start the game off. So we don't got those 8 penalties. We got explosive plays. We in the red zone trying to get points. So that kind of really affected us early on in the game.
What do you think Russ showed people after a week in which a lot of folks wanted him to be sat down?
I mean, after one game, I think he shows resilient. You know, he's resilient. He knows his preparation. He's comfortable in there. He ain't look, to me, after that first game, he ain't look back. He stayed with the same mindset, stayed putting everybody up, staying in high hopes. So, I mean, he didn't do anything different that I didn't expect him to do. I mean, I know I've been watching him a long time. I mean, I think he threw for 400? So, I mean, I think James is getting on it for him doing that for the first time in his career in the NFL. So, I mean, I know that's what he's capable of. He's capable of more. And we just can just lead with him. I mean, follow behind him.
Thanks.
That sound from Giants wide receiver Malik Nabers, brought to you by Ford, the official vehicle of the New York Giants. As we take a look at Malik's numbers today, one thing, Amani, that stood out to me was he was asked off the top about that Russell Wilson moonball, and he said, which one? Malik had a long reception of 48 yards. Wandale Robinson had a long reception of 50 yards. Darius Slayton had a long reception of 52 yards. As a wide receiver, Amani, how important is establishing the vertical passing game?
Well, I mean, it's great because it opens everything up. One leads to another. The fact that you can, stretch the defense and show your speed, because sometimes when you're playing and running all these short routes, the defenders think, oh, they're not running deep. You can't run by me. to prove it to them, that to me is one of the things that that makes the receivers more open and it gets you more excited. I know there's going to be a lot of stretching because everybody knows.
Absolutely. And speaking of receivers, let's send it down to another one. Wandale Robinson is speaking in the locker room.
Wandale, the numbers say 8 catches, 142 yards, and a touchdown. That's career high in terms of your yardage, but ultimately, of course, the loss is what's going to stick with you, I'm sure.
I mean, yeah, no doubt. I mean, even if with the numbers, there's still going to be some plays, I'm sure, when I go back and watch that film, that I want back to still. So, but got to come out with W's.
I could only imagine the emotions that you guys had on the field. We saw the stadium ups and downs as the game was a seesaw. You get that touchdown with just a couple of minutes to go. If you can take me through what your stomach is like at that point.
At that point, you think we got it, and you got all the confidence in the world in the defense to go out there and get a stop and get us the ball back, and we can ice the game from there. But that was really exactly what was going through my head.
How hard is it to watch a kicker hit one from 64 like that to send a game to overtime?
It's tough, but obviously we knew coming into it that really about once they crossed the 50, they were pretty much in field goal range with that kicker. So hats off to him.
What does this prove to you?
That sound from Wandale Robinson, brought to you by Ford, the official vehicle of the New York Giants. After the break, we're going to hear from Giants quarterback Russell Wilson. Stay with us on Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by Hackensack Meridian Health. Keep getting better. Time now for our HCL Player of the Game. HCL Tech supercharging progress, the official digital transformation partner of the New York Giants. The Player of the Game is the quarterback, Russell Wilson. 450 passing yards. That's 2 yards short of a career high. 3 touchdowns and an interception. Let's hear from the QB.
You know, anytime you lose, you know, it's tough. You know, there's so much fight. I mean, I think that the belief in the guys that we have, the belief on the sideline, you know, there's been a lot of noise, and guys did not flinch. And so I think that was the best part about today. You know, it would have been better. There's only one thing that would have been better, and that's obviously the most important thing, that's to win and find a way. And we tried to find a way. We kept responding. We kept answering. You know, I thought Malik played an incredible game. I mean, this guy is special. The plays that he was making, Malik Nabers, I think Wandale had a tremendous game. Slade made some big plays, you know, for us when we needed it. I thought the line did a tremendous job of giving me enough time, and credit those guys. You know, and we needed one more play, one more moment to make a big play, and unfortunately.
But we'll turn the page to week 3, the Giants home opener hosting the Kansas City Chiefs, Amani.
Yeah, they got to fight. Another fight on their hands. Just keep fighting like they fought this week, and the good things are going to happen.
And Sunday night football. For Amani, Toomer, I'm Madelyn Burke. Thanks for hanging out with us on Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by Hackensack Meridian Health. And happy birthday to our jib operator, Frank. We'll see you next week.